Welcome back to DJ Carl Play Legacy. Today we have Josh on Legacy Jund and David on Legacy Temur Cascade. Resolving their opening hands, Josh is keeping 7 with Ignoble Hierarch, Liliana the Veil, Grist the Hunger Tide, Lightning Bolt, and 3 land. David looks like he's mulling down to 5, keeping a Violent Outburst, Simian Spirit Guide, Elvish Spirit Guide, Force of Negation, the Seiju, and 2 Minskin Boot, of which he is scrying those to the bottom. Alrighty, so starting game 1, we have David on the play. And we'll play a Seiju and pass the turn. Josh playing his Verdant Catacombs, fetching down to 19. Looks like he's going to get a Bayou. Which you will tap for green and play that Ignoble Hierarch and pass the turn from there. He will untap and draw. He did not get that second land and is passing the turn. Josh will untap, draw. Josh is going to play a Wooded Foothills. He's going to fetch down to 18. A Badlands. Which you'll pay 2 to cast him to Turok. Looks like David's going to go ahead and float a green. Exile Simian Spirit Guide for a red and Elvish Spirit Guide for a green, and go ahead and cast that Violent Outburst. The Cascade trigger. And we hit that Crashing Footfalls, which David will cast it and get 2 4/4 Rhinos with Trample. Alrighty, so that resolves. David gets his 2 Rhino tokens. Violent Outburst resolves, giving his creatures +1/+0 until end of turn. Stack cleared back to him to Turok. David will discard 2 cards, add a Force of Negation and a Shardless Agent. Josh just passing from there. David will draw. Play his second land. Looks like he's attacking for 8 with those Rhinos. Pass from there, Josh will untap and draw. Playing a second Bayou. Paying 3 for Liliana the Veil. Minusing 2, having David sacrifice a creature. We'll then attack for 1 with the Exalted off the Ignoble Hierarch and pass the turn. David's going to go ahead and take down that Liliana and pass from there. Josh playing a Forest. We will go to combat. Swing 1 with the Ignoble Hierarch. Second main, Josh will play Grist the Hunger Tide, which he'll -2 and sacrifice a creature to destroy target creature or planeswalker, targeting the Rhino. Passing the turn, he will go ahead and play his third land, stacking both the Scalding Tarn and the Wooded Foothills. Trying to get the island off the Tarn and the mountain off the foothills. Okay, we will then go ahead and cast a Charlotte's Agent, Cascade trigger on the stack. Finding another Crashing Footfall, so David will go ahead and create those 2 Rhino tokens. Charlotte's Agent resolves. David will pass the turn from there. Josh will untap draw. Josh will plus to create a black and green insect creature token and milling a card. If he mills an insect, he can create another one and repeat the process. Josh will then play a Bloodstained Mire, cast another Ignoble Hierarch, and pass turn from there. David will untap and draw. Looks like David will go to combat, attacking Grist for 4 with one of the Rhinos, and Josh for 6 with the other 2 creatures. Josh will go ahead and block on the Charlotte's Agent and the Rhino token. Josh will take 3, Grist will die. David will pass from there. End of turn, Josh will Lightning Bolt the other Rhino. Josh will then start off with an Acquisition. David reveals a Minskin Boo. Josh will go ahead and cast that Hymn to Turok, getting rid of that Minskin Boo, and pass the turn. David will play his 4th land and attack for 6. Josh is at 1. Josh will then go ahead and concede from there, moving on to game 2. Moving on to sideboard for game 2, Josh will take out 2 Endurance and a Remnant Excavator, bring in 2 Plague Engineer and a Pernicious Deed. David, no changes. Taking a look at these opening hands, we have Josh with Tarmogoyf, Liliana the Veil, Abrupt Decay, Sylvan Library, Badlands, Bloodstained Mire, and a Bayou. For David, we have a Brazen Borrower, Force of Will, Elvish Spirit Guide, Charlotte's Agent, Scalding Tarn, Misty Rainforest, and Odawara Soaring City. Josh will start off with that Bloodstained Mire and pass the turn from there. David, does he pass? Josh will play that Badlands into a Thoughtseize. No response, they will show that hand to Josh. Josh is going to go ahead and take that Charlotte's agent and pass the turn from there. David will play that Scalding Tarn and pass the turn. Josh with the Bayou. He's going to go ahead and pay 2 and cast that Sylvan Library. David goes ahead and lets that resolve. At Josh's end step, David's going to double fetch. Dave will go ahead and get an island and a mountain. Dave's going to go ahead and cast Petty Theft on that Sylvan Library. Untap and draw. Play a forest per turn. David's going to go ahead and get aggressive and cash that Elvish Spirit Guide. Josh with the Wasteland. She'll pay 2 to recast that Sylvan Library. We'll crack that Bloodstained Mire. Get a Bayou. Josh is going to cast Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf resolves, making it a 4/5. Josh will go ahead and pass the turn from there. David will go ahead and pass the turn. Library trigger for Josh. Josh will just draw the 1. Starting off his turn with an Inquisition of Kozilek. David will respond with a Violent Outburst. Cascade trigger. Hitting a Crashing Footfalls again. Having that resolve, David will get his Rhinos. Outburst resolves, making his creatures +1/+0. Moving Tarmogoyf from a 4/5 to a 5/6. Inquisition resolving, Josh will take the Simian Spirit Guide. Josh will go ahead and pass the turn. David will untap draw. Play a Misty Rainforest. Looks like David's going to go ahead and pass the turn. End step, Josh is going to cast Abrupt Decay on one of his tokens. Untap, upkeep, and draw step trigger for library. Looks like Josh is just going to take a regular draw on here. And we'll start off by paying 2 for a Scavenging Ooze. Looks like David's going to go ahead and force of will that Scavenging Ooze, getting rid of the fire ice in his hand. Josh will pass turn from there. End step. David's going to crack that fetch land. Getting a tropical island. And then David's going to go ahead and cast that Brazen Bar at end step as well. Moving on, David will untap draw. David's going to go ahead and channel Odawara, returning the Tarmogoyf to Josh's hand. Going to combat. Josh will then Abrupt Decay the other Rhino token and take 5. Dave will pass turn from there. Upkeep and draw a trigger off the Sylvan Library for Josh. You'll then go ahead and cast the Minskin Boo. Roll +1, putting 3 counters on up to 1 target creature. And you'll attack for 4. We'll pass the turn from there. They will untap and draw. David's going to go ahead and cast a Violent Outburst, Cascade trigger. Gets that Crashing Footfalls. And go ahead and get his 2 Rhino tokens. Outburst resolves, giving his creatures +1/+0. And he'll go to combat, attack the Brazen Bar at Minskin Boo, and the Elvish Spirit Guide at Josh. Minskin Boo will die. Josh will go to 9. Dave will pass his turn from there. Draw a trigger off the library for Josh. Looks like he'll just take the draw. Josh will pay 3 for a Plague Engineer. Looks like he's going to name Fairy here, which will kill the Brazen Borrower. And pass turn from there. David will untap and draw. David's going to go ahead and go to combat, tackle all. Josh will block the one token with a Plague Engineer and the other with the Boo token. And we'll trade. Josh will take 4 damage total, down to 5. David will go ahead and pass the turn from there. Josh will untap, draw a trigger off the library. Take the single draw. Josh will play a Taiga and cast Liliana. And a Tarmogoyf. Josh will take up Liliana. Each player will discard a card. Josh is empty-handed, so David will go ahead and discard a Force of Will. End step, David's going to go ahead and flash in an Endurance. Deciding where the Endurance trigger on the ETB will go. Looks like David's going to go ahead and target himself, shuffling his graveyard onto the bottom of his library. David will go ahead and untap and draw. And play his own Minskin Boo. We'll get the Boo token. Plus the Minskin Boo, putting 3 counters onto the Boo. He'll go ahead and pass the turn from there. Josh will untap, upkeep, and draw trigger off the Sylvan Library. Go ahead and take that single draw. Josh will go ahead and activate Liliana, targeting David to sacrifice a creature. Josh will then play another Minskin Boo. Looks like he'll first Wasteland that tropical island. Josh will get his Boo token, and he will plus the Minskin Boo. Deciding to put the counters on his own Boo token. He decides to pass the turn. Dave will untap draw. We'll play a Wooded Foothills per turn. Looks like David's going to go ahead and minus his Minskin Boo, sacrificing the Boo token. So he will draw 4 cards and target Josh's Minskin Boo with the damage. David's going to go ahead and pass the turn. Josh with his library trigger. Takes the single draw. He will play a Dryad Arbor. And minus the Liliana to have David sacrifice a creature. He'll then go to combat. Setting both at his Minskin Boo. David with no blocks, the Minskin Boo is down. End step. David's going to go ahead and Petty Theft the Boo token. Dave will untap and draw. Dave will play a tropical island. And he will pass the turn. Josh with his library trigger. Josh with the Verdant Catacomb. Josh will go to combat, swinging with the Tarmogoyf and the Dryad Arbor. David will go ahead and take the 6. Josh will pass. David will cast the Brazen Borrow end step. David will go ahead and attack for 3. And in his second main phase, David will go ahead and cast a Minskenboo, which he will minus it, sacrificing the Brazen Borrower, dealing the final damage to Josh. And with that, remember to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.